and gentlemen, it's time for the next topic, which is going to be very interesting. And the topic is the danger of EMF and the benefits of PEMF. And to listen to the dangers of EMF and how PEMF can help, I would like to call upon Mr. Franz Zach. Mr. Franz Zach is the chairman of Sedona Wellness Limited. He is both a pioneer and international expert of the harvesting energy and its application to wellness products. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Mr. Franz Zach. Come on, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. See a few familiar faces and a few new faces out there today. How's everybody doing? Good, good, good. As you may notice, on your sheet it is going to say that the presenter today is Mr. Franz Zach. But because we're in this convention for ageless, for anti-aging, we decided that we're going to go with a younger approach. So instead of Mr. Franz Zach up here today, it's going to be Mr. Niki Zach. Okay? If you were looking forward to seeing Mr. Franz Zach, please stick around. He will be coming up for closing arguments. Okay? Let me introduce myself. My name is Niki Zach. I'm Austrian born, and I moved to Florida at a very young age in the US. After quite a few years there, I left Florida and started moving around, and I learned more about magnetic field therapy. I have 28 years of experience with PEMF devices. PEMF devices are pulsating electromagnetic field therapy devices. That's going to bring me to the topic of today, which is going to be PEMF and EMFs. We're going to learn the difference between these electromagnetic fields. All right? And more importantly, the harmfulness of EMFs and the benefits of PEMFs. I'm going to show you guys a picture of a few items that we see every day or that we use every day. When you first take a look at these pictures, we're a little more health conscious. We probably know where this is going. But for other people, when we look at these pictures, we can see items that make our lives much easier. Everybody uses Wi-Fi, telephone towers every day, mobile phones every hour, sometimes every minute if we're waiting for a text message or a phone call, kitchen appliances, Bluetooth, medical equipment, power lines, we're always surrounded by them. But what do all of these items have in common? Besides making our life easier, they are also common sources of EMF radiation. Our bodies are constantly surrounded by this EMF radiation. Now, it's important to notice that there's two different types of EMF. Okay? These are all the EMFs that we're surrounded by daily. We have non-ionizing, such as mobile phones, Wi-Fi routers, telephone lines, 5G, and ionizing, such as X-rays, UVs, chemotherapy. The difference between these two, non-ionizing, are ones that our bodies can handle for a certain amount of time. If you're on your phone for 1 minute and you put it down, you'll be okay. But if you're on your phone for 24 hours, it's going to give you some damage. Ionizing is something that is high frequency, that is more dangerous for the body, X-rays. If you've ever taken an X-ray, you know that the doctor is never in the same room with you. He always leaves because these are very harmful rays for your body. Same with UVs, same with radiation. So some of the potential negative effects of EMF, okay? This is one of the major ones, and we see this one a lot with the new generation, with kids. Brain and nervous issues, okay? More and more kids are on their phones nowadays, their tablets, again, surrounded by all this. Their brains are getting damaged, meaning their attention span is a lot less. They're very nervous, they're jumping around, anxiety, a lot of problems that we see in kids nowadays that we didn't have back then or even before I was born. Another one is fertility issues. This one is huge. And the reason that so many people have fertility issues, and I'm actually doing the mistake right now, we all have our phones in our pocket. Our phone is right next to where it shouldn't be, which damages fertility issues for male and for women as well. So one big step you can already do to help with fertility issues is keep that phone out of your pocket whenever you can. Sleeping disorder. I could go around the room here and ask who had a good night's sleep, and I bet 50% of people will say they didn't sleep well. This is because even if your body is tired, your muscles are tired, your body's sore, and it wants to rest, your brain waves, your brain frequencies are moving too fast. They're going too fast that your body cannot get into stage 4 deep sleep. So we need to try to bring this down, and that's very hard when we're surrounded by these high-frequency EMFs. The weakened immune system. This is something we were talking about with that long exposure to ionizing and also non-ionizing EMFs. And when we have a weakened immune system, we are more prone to diseases, all right? We all know that the weaker our body is, the more likely we are to catch any diseases that are going around. And the last thing, and I hope none of you are going to get this today from my speech, is headache. So headache is another one that some people that are more sensitive to EMFs, even from just being on the phone for a few minutes, they might have a headache or they might feel dizziness, fatigue. So we'll take a little break and watch this little video to sum up the harmful effects of EMFs, and that will lead us into the benefits of PEMF. Oops. An electromagnetic field, often referred to as an EMF, is born when electrons begin to accelerate. Upon movement, charged particles create fields. These fields, depending on their frequency and intensity, can be harmful for the cells. Many high-frequency EMFs cause radiation damage to the cells. 5G, or fifth-generation technology, refers to the latest trend in wireless systems, involving larger channels, higher speeds, and the ability to connect a host of devices from one location. New 5G networks generate radio frequency radiation that can damage DNA and lead to cancer, cause oxidative damage that can cause premature aging, disrupt cell metabolism, and potentially lead to other diseases through the generation of stress proteins. Pulsating electromagnetic field therapy uses frequencies that balance the ion concentration of your cells to protect them against EMFs, including 5G. 5G cannot damage your cells if they are healthy and protected. Imagine creating a shield for your cells. This is exactly what PEMF therapy does. Alright, that will take us into introduction to PEMF therapy, pulsating electromagnetic field therapy. Our bodies are electronically charged. That is why they can be damaged by these electromagnetic waves that we're receiving. So, if our body gets damaged by these electromagnetic waves, why shouldn't there be a way that we can use these magnetic waves to heal our body? If we can get affected in one way, why not get affected in the other way? Okay? This is what we were talking about earlier. If your networks causes disruption, it can lead to pain, dysfunction, disease, and now we have a way that we're going to use these bad electromagnetic frequencies for healing. So what exactly is PEMF and how does it differ from EMF? The main difference is in the word pulsed. Okay? EMFs, when we're getting constant EMFs in the body, they're damaging our body. We're pulsating these EMFs. That way, we're mimicking the frequencies of the earth and the frequencies of our body. That way, we have a more natural magnetic field coming into our body. We're also using the proper frequencies. You don't want to use frequencies that are too high, intensities that are too strong, depending on what the body needs. How exactly does it work? Every cell in our body has an electrical charge, okay? A healthy cell is normally -70 to -80 millivolts of charge. When the cells get weaker, they can go down to -60, -50, -40 millivolts. Now we're talking about people that are very sick, cancer patients, or people that have very bad diseases. Okay? And so the idea with these PEMF frequencies is that we can use specific frequencies and intensities to target certain parts of the body, certain organs, and certain issues inside of the body. We're going to watch another short video about frequencies.
Whether you realize it or not, frequency and vibration hold an extremely important yet hidden power that affects our lives, our mental and physical health, and our consciousness. Everything has a range of frequency, including every organ and cell in our bodies. Scientific research has shown that our cells resonate with and respond to different frequencies. Nikola Tesla stated, "The brain and the earth itself work on the same frequencies. If we can control that resonant system electronically, we can directly control the entire mental system of humankind." Interestingly enough, the application of certain frequencies by frequency-generating devices can enhance cellular resonance and cellular metabolic and electrical functions. And it has been discovered that healthy tissues have more structured water than unhealthy tissues. Clinicians who recognize this fact have found that certain types of music, frequency generators, and chanting can improve water structuring in the tissues and health when they are correctly utilized. In fact, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, or PEMF, has become a popular method of treatment for many physical ailments. So, what is PEMF? This is a process that involves directing powerful pulsed energy waves towards damaged or injured areas of a patient's body. Although rarely talked about mainstream, NASA recognizes this type of therapy as well. In a NASA paper entitled Physiological and Molecular Electromagnetic Fields on Human Neuron Cells, written by Thomas J. Goodwin, PhD.
Now let's get a little bit more into the science behind PEMF. Here we have an example of a healthy cell. Okay, we can see the cell wall is healthy, the cell membrane is strong, and over here we have an example of a sick cell. We can also see these graphs here, this all separated, there more clustered. I always like to use the example of a healthy cell. On a healthy cell, we have on the cell membrane a protein called the sodium-potassium pump, which allows the nutrients and the oxygen to go into the cell and allows the toxins to go out. This is pumping, okay? If this protein isn't functioning properly, I like to compare it to if you're swimming in the water and you have a snorkel. If you have a snorkel, you're allowed to get the oxygen from above the water into your body. But if that snorkel gets closed, less oxygen comes in, and if it's completely closed off, you won't be getting any more oxygen, all right? So on the cell membrane, we have a few of these proteins, but as they start to go, it becomes harder for the cell to breathe, which leads to the sick cell, which eventually ends up dying because it cannot get enough oxygen and nutrients inside. Okay, PEMF energizes the cell, all right? We keep this protein functioning properly. So imagine it as, you can say the protein is a car. If it runs out of battery, it starts to die down. We are charging this protein, we're keeping it functioning properly on the cell membrane to allow the nutrients, oxygen to go in, and also what's very important is this electronic charge. We'll talk more about that later, but it's just very important to know we need to keep that negative charge on the inside of the cell and positive on the outside. The exchange of sodium, potassium going in to keep that charge. And again, this all comes down to that protein functioning properly, allowing all these things to go in and the toxins to go out. Okay, here we break it down a little bit more. Here we can see this is that protein that I was talking about. This is the sodium-potassium pump. We can see the potassium. And we can see again, very important, this negative charge on the inside of the cell wall. The reason this negative charge is very important, we've all played with magnets before, and we know that if we take a positive side and a negative side, they will stick together. The same thing with our cells. If our cells on the outside are positive and negative, they will stick together. But if they are positive and positive on the outside, they will rebound. They won't cluster. They won't stick together, meaning they will move around freely. If they are not charged properly and they stick together, they cause this cluster, they will start building up, and we call this the rouleau effect. Okay? The rouleau effect is when your red blood cells start forming together, they stick together, and they cannot move around as freely because they are not properly charged. A second bad thing about this happening is your red blood cells, they bring the oxygen to parts of your body where it's needed. So if these blood cells have to go into small areas, into arteries and veins, they cannot get there if they're clustered together. And the other thing is that they bring this oxygen into those parts of your body because the oxygen molecule attaches to the red blood cell. If 2 or 3 red blood cells are attached together, there's less space on the cell wall for that oxygen to get attached to. Okay? Another thing is, the bigger it is, the more blood cells that get attached together, the more difficult it is to go into these parts of your body. With PEMF, we break up these blood cells because we charge the cells properly, that they bounce off each other, right? And then these cells can individually go into all these places in the smallest areas, in the smallest arteries and veins. We call this microcirculation. So with PEMF, we create this microcirculation because we're breaking up those red blood cells, that they can individually go to the parts of the body where they need to go. So I'll show you here a before and after from PEMF therapy. Here we can see this cluster. All these cells are all clumped together, sticking together, sometimes 2, sometimes more. If you've seen maybe the Rouleau effect, you can see it can really stack up. And over here we can see after PEMF therapy, after charging the blood cells correctly, they start to break apart. They move freely, okay? That's why we say when you take a PEMF session, after it, you might feel a little bit of warmth or a little tingling in the body, and people think it always comes from the machine, but it's not. It's actually your blood circulation increasing in your body, and the tingling is sometimes the blood going to places where it hasn't been in a while, so you're getting that feeling back. So, and speaking of PEMF therapy, and I'll get back to this at the end of the presentations, we are also exhibiting here. We have our products. You'll see them. They'll be set around this beautiful hotel out in the lawn as well, so whenever you guys want, feel free to come by and try those out. Microcirculation, this is one of the most important things from the benefits of PEMF therapy, but there is a whole list of other ones. We have pain reduction, improved circulation, we just talked about that, accelerated bone healing, reduced inflammation, enhanced muscle function, sleep, stress reduction, increased cellular energy, nerve repair, immune system support, detoxification is a big one that we talked about. Remember, the nutrients going into the cell pushes the toxins out. Wound healing, benefits for depression and anxiety. That's, again, the brain function, regulation of blood pressure. And there's more. They didn't have enough space for the list. And I would love to explain every single one of these, but I don't have enough time, and we would be going on for days. So to finish up, I will show one last video with a bit of a summary of all the benefits of PEMF.
The benefits of pulsating electromagnetic field therapy on your immune system. Increased oxygenation of the cells. The cells in our bodies require oxygen to produce heat and energy. After our lungs extract the oxygen from the air, the arteries carry it in the blood back to the bodily organs. PEMF therapy aids this process by helping individual cells absorb oxygen better. Reduced inflammation. Inflammation is the result of the body trying to repair damaged cells by increasing blood flow to diseased or injured tissues. While this is generally a beneficial process for the body, persistent and chronic inflammation can generate pain. PEMF treatment is known to reduce chronic inflammation and ease pain. It can be especially useful in the case of chronic inflammatory diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, and tendinitis. It has also been shown to improve bone regeneration in patients suffering from bone-destroying diseases such as osteoporosis, osteopenia, and arthritis. PEMF improves sleep. PEMF therapy stimulates the pituitary gland to produce the human growth hormone, HGH, and melatonin. HGH helps with cell reproduction and regeneration, and melatonin is a key hormone in promoting healthy sleep and anti-aging. PEMF also helps with neurological disorders. PEMF stimulates neurons and brain cells to regenerate and return to normal function. This helps to treat diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, depression, and phobias. Countering harmful EMFs, Wi-Fi routers, and 5G. We are surrounded by power frequencies and wireless radio frequency telecommunication devices 24/7. These frequencies have detrimental effects on our sleep patterns and our cells' power generating capacity. PEMF therapy devices block out these harmful EMFs, making them relatively harmless. One 30-minute treatment of pulsating electromagnetic field therapy a day is all you need.
We'll just finish up with this slide right here. I had to come around to it because these are our products. So we can see here, this is our PEMF mat. It's a PEMF you lay on with a small localized pillow. If you have any injuries, let's say knee, elbow, you would use something more specific to target that region of the body. Otherwise, we put it behind your bed. This one actually here, we have 2 of them set up on the lawn outside. It's 30 minutes. If you guys have time, please do come and try it out. This is a lounger. It's the same thing that we put inside of the lounge. We don't have this one with us, but it's the same as this one. 2 different colors we have. We also have this new item that we just launched is a face mask. Okay, it's a portable PEMF device that you can put on your face for anti-aging, for collagen production, blood circulation. Better sleep is a big one. Better sleep leading us into a new product we'll be launching soon. The pillow, PEMF pillow, which you can use while you're sleeping. All right, I started this video by saying that I had 28 years of experience with PEMF devices. I'm 28 years old. I'm just fortunate enough that I had a father who was in this business, and he put me inside when I was a baby. So we started out by talking about Mr. Zach, who is supposed to be your speaker here today. For those of you that don't know him, he's my father. For those of you that do know him, he probably introduced himself as my brother, but he's here today, so I would like to introduce him, Mr. Zach, right here. He's the founder. He's the guy. I know a lot about it, but if I know a lot about it, imagine having twice as much experience. And he may look young, but because of using this, he does look young. So, anyways, we'll be around here. We'll be on the lawn. I'll get to your questions in a sec. We'll be on the lawn. My dad and I both will be out there. Feel free to come and try it out and ask any questions there. Yes, sorry, you had a question? Well, the diseases, they come as you age and even by your surroundings, right? So another thing about this is people in the beginning started using it saying, oh, I have this problem, let me use this to heal my problem. But now we switched into the mentality where people use it as preventative. I use it every day. I can't remember the last time I'm sick, and that's probably a long time ago because I use this, my memories quite well as well. People started using it as preventative as well. So a session, 30 minutes a day, we actually recommend 30 minutes twice a day because PEMF works in your body for 6 to 8 hours after you've actually done the session. So sometimes when you're on it in 30 minutes, you might not see instant results. If you have pain, you're more like, the worse the pain, the faster the results. The faster you'll see results. But if it's a long-term injury, it might take 2 or 3 or 4, 5 sessions until you start seeing results. That's why we recommend, if possible, do it every day or even twice a day, like every 8 hours, once in the morning, once in the evening. And if you have a chronic disease, it can be after a while that your disease is gone, right? But you can continue using it because there's no side effects, there's no harm to it. It's 30 minutes that you have to use it, The only thing that happens is if somebody's very toxic, a very toxic person, or very sick, and we use high frequencies, they may detoxify too fast. Meaning, okay, they might sweat it out, they might feel a little bit lightheaded, but we know that. We don't start somebody in a high frequency if we know that they're not that very strong of a person, for example. So yeah, you can heal the chronic diseases and then continue using it to prevent any future diseases. For lifetime, yeah. We sell here in India, yeah, we sell, yeah.
You talked about osteoporosis and also arthritis for bone, regeneration, etc. through the EMF. Do you also do that for bone injury, which is in older people? Is it possible to do a bone repair? And do you use that? How do you do that how do you find out if the bone is injured, and how do you treat that with this technology?
Well,
for a specific bone injury.
The bone injury, if we need...
it's not like a disease or illness, but an injury.
An injury, so let's say you've broken a bone, for example.
Well, it's not broken. It's like an injury which is not healing for 1 year or something. It's, a couple of people in my family have this issue that it's an injury, but it's, firstly, we don't even know how to do a laparoscopy to find out what exactly is it. But can you...
Are you in pain?
Not me. It's not personal.
Okay, is that person in pain?
Very much.
Very much in pain?
Yes.
Okay, it can be that there's something there, either in the nerves or an inflammation that is blocking the healing process. So because that area is blocked, the bone cannot heal itself. We know that our body naturally heals itself, right? But if our cells are not functioning properly, or we don't have enough healthy cells, then the body cannot heal itself naturally. It only can keep us alive. So it can make our body function, but it cannot do more than that. But it sounds more like that is something that it's a blockage, or there's something not allowing the bone to regrow over there. So
can
with
we use this technology for treating specifically the bone injury?
You can, because we're regenerating the cells, which will regenerate the tissues, which will regenerate the bone. So
we can.
If it is, you can. If it is something chronic, it might take a little bit longer.
It's become chronic over a year.
Yeah. So with bone density, with bone issues, it's always we use a low frequency. Absolutely. And we use it for quite a long time. So yeah, it can.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So PEMF is about aligning your electromagnetic field.
You can say that in a way, yeah. But PEMF.
So how is even if you put in a face mask or a pillow, it's still going to align your electromagnetic field as a whole, right?
Yeah, because we're stimulating the cells in your body, and your cells move around in your body. Like your body knows basically how to heal itself. We're just giving them that charge,
So all the 3 products will give us the same benefit.
They'll give you the same benefit. The difference is the face mask and the pillow are lower intensity because, of course, the face mask, we use it for a little blood circulation in the face. The pillow, we use it for sleeping, so we don't want to do a high. I talked about this in the beginning. Is if you're surrounded by high frequencies, it's hard to get into that deep sleep stage. But if you're surrounded by low frequencies, then it's easy to get into that deep sleep stage because your brain matches that frequency. This machine here, we have higher intensity in it and higher frequency as well because we use it also for injuries, for bone healing, for inflammation, for example, if I use the machine a lot if I get injured. I do a lot of sports. So if I get hurt during an injury, I go with a high frequency right away to prevent any swelling and any inflammation. So that's the difference between the two. So the face mask and the pillow are very good for blood circulation and for getting into that calm, deep sleep, and also for focus, because we need sometimes low frequencies to focus. So 25 hertz is a frequency that when you're surrounded by it, whatever you read, whatever you see, you will remember better. It's for your cognitive ability. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the show. And like I said, we will be out on the lawn, or if you see us around, please feel free to ask us any questions. All right?
Thank you so much.